I am fired up for this breaking story. I'm going to show you in just a couple of seconds because all you have to do is just sit back and enjoy this one because Barack Obama is standing on a stage, dropping it and running it down in Detroit Rock City. And who is going to be introducing him before he gets on his roll? Well, you got to see what he has to say in this breaking story. You know it, Mr. 8 Mile E himself. So let's get riled up and let's set it up. In a few seconds, you'll see what B.O. has to say. But right now, take a listen to this.
And I know just the guy to do it. Donald Trump is here tonight. Now, I know that he's taken some flack lately, but no one is happier, no one is prouder to put this birth certificate matter to rest than the Donald. And that's because he can finally get back to focusing on the issues that matter. Like, did we fake the moon landing? What really happened in Roswell? And where are Biggie and Tupac? But you, Mr. Trump, recognize that the real problem was a lack of leadership. And so ultimately you didn't blame Little John or Meatloaf. You fired Gary Busey. And these are the kind of decisions that would keep me up at night.
When I needed some inspiration on the presidential campaign, I often turned to music. It was rap that got my head in the right place. 2 songs especially. Jay-Z's My First Song and Eminem's Lose Yourself. Both were about defying the odds and putting it all on the line. In one moment, would you capture it or just let it slip?
The calm before the storm right here. Wait, how was I gonna start this off? I forgot. Oh yeah. That's an awfully hot coffee pot. Should I drop it on Donald Trump? Probably not, but that's all I got till I come up with a solid.
Look, if you had one shot or one opportunity to seize everything you ever wanted.
But we better give Obama props, cause what we got in office now's a kamikaze that'll probably cause a nuclear holocaust. And while the drama pops and he waits for shit to quiet down, he'll just gas his plane up and fly around till the bombing stops. Intensity's heightened, tensions are rising. Trump, when it comes to giving a shit, you're stingy as I am. Except when it comes to having the balls to go against me, you hide them. Cause you don't got the nuts like an empty asylum.
That's what I'm talking about. And what did Mr. Obama have to say to Mr. Trump, standing in a place that Trump and Vance just were, word salad out of their mouth? Here it is. Run it down for us, Barack, our breaking story right now.
And now, NBC News has confirmed rapper Eminem will be introducing Barack Obama at the Harris Walls rally in Detroit tonight.
I've talked to some folks, and they'll say, yeah, but, you know, I do remember the economy was pretty good when Trump first came in office. And I said, yeah, because it was my economy. So when I handed over 75 straight months of job growth to Donald Trump, all he did was give a tax cut to people who didn't need it, drove up the deficits in the process. So don't have nostalgia for what his economy was, because that was mine. He calls service members who died in battle losers. When he calls our fellow citizens vermin, people make excuses for it. He's making a joke. He doesn't mean it. It's okay. The attitude is it's okay as long as their side wins. And I've noticed this especially with some men who think Trump's behavior is somehow a sign of strength. You never apologize for anything. You're not accountable for anything. I'm here to tell you that's not what real strength is. Never has been. Real strength's about working hard. Real strength's about taking responsibility for your actions. Real strength's about telling the truth even when it's inconvenient. Real strength is about helping people who need it and standing up for those who can't stand up for themselves. That's what we should want for our daughters and our sons. That's what I want in the President of the United States. He's complaining 2, 3 in the morning. He's texting. What's he doing? You're running for president and you're hawking merchandise. And the good news is Kamala Harris is ready for the job. This is a leader who has spent her life fighting on behalf of people who need a voice and need a champion. Somebody who was raised in a middle-class family, who actually worked at McDonald's when she was in college to pay her expenses, didn't just pretend, as frustrating as politics can be sometimes. And I know it can be frustrating. Look, I do not watch cable news. I really don't. And we start thinking politics doesn't matter, but the thing is, what politics can do, what elections can do, they can make your life a little better, your neighbor's life a little better, or they can make it a little worse. And that little bit of better or a little bit of worse, that adds up. You might not be able to get insurance for your child before the Affordable Care Act. And now you had to make a choice. Are you going to sell your house in order to get that child the care they need? Imagine that. You don't have to imagine it. That's what was going on. That's not true now because of elections, because of politics. It made a difference to them. Some people in this auditorium saw a concrete benefit in their lives. I'll give you another example. When I was president, last couple years in office, I took an interest in what scientists were saying, that with globalization and travel and growing populations, at some point, we were going to see a serious pandemic. So this back in 14, 15, 16. So I said to my team, we need to get a plan together, just like we have one for natural disasters. You have to practice. You have to have a sense of how are you going to respond if there's a flood, a hurricane, an earthquake. And I said we need to do the same thing with the pandemic. So we put together a playbook. So when Donald Trump comes into office, we gave him that playbook. And apparently it got dropped into a trash bin. And hold on a second. So 3 years later, a pandemic hits. Now I want to be fair on this. I understand what I'm saying. No matter who was president, if I had been president, if Hillary Clinton been president, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, it doesn't matter. This was going to be a problem. People were going to get sick, people were going to die, businesses were going to shut down for a while, travel was going to be restricted. It was something we hadn't seen since 1918, right? So it was going to be a challenge. But if you look at a country like Canada, their per capita death rate was 60% lower than the United States. Now I want you to do the math. Let's say we lost more than 1 million people from COVID in the United States. Most of you know somebody whose lives was touched. 60% might be alive if we had a capable, competent government that was paying attention. And the good news is, Wisconsin, that you have candidates to vote for in this election who have demonstrated that kind of character. It is not just policies that are on the ballot. It is who we are and what we stand for. Do not sit back and hope for the best. Do not think this is a distraction or a joke. Get off your couch and do what? Put down your phones and do what? Vote for Kamala Harris as the next president of the United States. We'll leave no doubt about the outcome of this election. And together we will keep building a country that is more fair and more just and more equal and more free. That is our job. That's our responsibility. Let's go do it. Come on.
Honestly, folks, Not much else you can say. Harris Walls. And as Barack just said, don't boo. Vote.